I am here to save everyone's landscapes. It's a tall order, but I am confident. Shape, atmospheric perspective, areas of rest, value grouping, and eye flow. Why am I doing this? I was gonna do that. We watch a lot of advice videos, tips, tricks, art theory, but it's hard to retain all that information. And so today I made you guys a little cheat sheet, a little bit of a checklist. So if your environment feels off, check these 5 things and they will help. This video pairs up perfectly with my art challenge right now to celebrate my new book, which is on pre-order with free shipping. Yeah, there's still a few weeks left to join in, and my mom said she would make one too. So today we're gonna go through these 5 concepts. I'll explain what they are, why they matter, and then I thought it'd be fun to go back to some of my oldest environment art and fix them. Before I knew anything, they looked freaking horrendous. I feel like this video is almost like older version of me making a video for younger version of me. Younger me, if you're listening, buy NVIDIA stocks early. S. Oh, that's an ugly S. Let me see if I still know how to do the Superman X. Oh shoot, I still know how to do it! Hell yeah. So the S stands for shape. Art is shape language. Beauty design, architecture, fashion design. Shapes communicate feeling whether we realize it or not. Sharp shapes usually have a little more danger to them, dynamic. Round shapes are usually friendlier and softer. And squares feel more stable and grounded. But the real magic happens when the different shape languages play and contrast each other. If everything in your painting is exactly like one shape language, then it starts to feel more one note. And out in Mother Nature, a variety of shape languages playing with each other, like the mountain and the clouds. So it's really pretty. So if your piece is really soft and round and friendly, adding another design language, it stimulates our brain, and we tend to like that. These are 2 distinctly different design languages, and they amplify each other. And so the clouds feel softer and the plains feel sharper. I personally love using the 75%, 25% rule. So if your whole piece feels softer and friendlier, so maybe 25% of that is the other shape. Think of that 25% more of an accent shape, like a character. This is not set in stone, but it's a good benchmark to start off with. And over time, as you get more mileage and do more environments, you'll stop drawing and painting what you see and start designing what you see. So I found some art from 17 years ago. Holy look at this. So yeah, this is an example of what I mean, All the shapes have this kind of roundness to them. Look at this mountain. It feels like a lumpy doo-doo mountain. Even this building has a roundness to a lot of it as well. So maybe I can just quickly make these mountains a little sharper. So that was a very quick paint over. This is the old one versus the new one. And from a distance, it already reads way better. There's a clearer shape language. This feels really unconfident, these lumpy mountains. Quickly just committed to this sharper shape. And the contrast feels a lot clearer and it's more pleasant to look at. At the beginning, a lot of people just copy what they see, like a mountain, ooh, like mountain. And then over time, design it more. They characterize and stylize it more. But don't worry, this is kind of a lifelong process of getting better. A stands for atmospheric perspective. This is one of the biggest things that create depth. In real life, there's a lot of particles in the air, like dust, pollution, microscopic bacteria things. The farther something is away from us, the more atmosphere sits between us and that object. That means things in the distance tend to be lighter, have less contrast, and pick up some of that sky color. A great way to add realism to your pieces, even really stylized pieces using this concept. The animation I'm directing, I'm painting all of the backgrounds. You get really excited early on, you accept the challenge, and then later, you're like, I don't really mind because I've been getting a lot better and I've been finding ways to do it faster. And so, this is the background from the animation, and for the sake of this demonstration, I removed most of the atmosphere. It's pretty flat, right? Not that much depth to it. So I'm gonna slowly just add some depth to this, Ooh, already. I'm just gonna restore the water that we did to add some more dimension and perspective. The back here, it should be a little lighter. God rays are a really cool effect to add for atmospheric perspective. Oh, pretty. Light shining through the leaves. A little bit of particles and dust in the air. So this is before, and after. So you can see by adding a little more atmospheric perspective, I am able to add a little more depth, dimension, feel more immersive even. So here's one of my older pieces. Some of you know that I love Atlantis: The Lost Empire, you know, one of my favorite movies. And here's a project from like 14 years ago. Holy shit, crazy, 14? You can see that the atmospheric perspective is a little dry, right? Everything is almost equal importance. Even the back buildings here have like a similar value structure. I'm gonna add a little more separation with atmospheric perspective. Our God Ray, right? Ooh, so cool. Shout out to my parents for the college tuition. Money well spent. This is before. Oh my God, that's so busy versus now. Ooh, there's way more separation in it. So the other A, oh, well, that's kind of nice. Oh. Areas of rest. This one is super important. So when we first start, we think that detail is good. And so we detail everything. Yeah, so here's another old one. I thought more detail would kind of like excel me because there's more detail. It must be more sophisticated and like he spent more hours on this. It's like a fake perception. Oh God. I remember getting really excited to like work on these back mountains that nobody's really ever gonna see. But eventually you understand that rests give detail meaning. Here's another one that I did back then. I still think this is cool, but if every part of the image had equal importance, the viewer gets exhausted. And I honestly think that this applies to real life too. We like clean rooms and kind of organized, spacious places, so our brains can rest. So make sure you pick up the clothes off the floor. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Look at this vase I thrifted. Oh, I love this vase. It's one of my favorite things. There's a lot of activity at the top and there's activity at the bottom. And then everything in between is like this nice resting point. Cool vase. But over time, you know, as I got better, I played with rest and space a lot more. A lot of activity down here, less activity here, and then a lot more rest up here. I think this was like 2011, 2012. So here's one of my favorite landscape paintings I've done. One of my intentions is to give the lighter rocks and this mid foreground a lot less detail, an area of rest, contrasting the more dynamic red rocks. So here's one I finished for the book that I started on Patreon. As you go farther into your art journey, you'll just gain a lot more confidence and care less about proving yourself. I really love the back clouds here. I could have made it a lot more realistic, you know, dynamic like I usually do, but I chose to really simplify it in a fun kind of children's book kind of way. It's like this really nice graphic, simple cloud that parallels this character's hair and her garment. And also it's a nice contrast with all these like textured flowers. And if you want to see my longer form tutorial, check out my senior year event on Patreon happening right now. And I think that's what makes 2D animation look so appealing to us. Some rich textured background against simplistic characters. Combination feels really appealing. So let's add a little bit of rest to this because I still really like the impact of this painting. This is 2011. So I just did a really quick edit here. I think the original, there's a lot of cool detail, but I think it gets more jarring the longer you look at it. And so I just did a really quick kind of edit just to smooth out some of that detail so we can focus on the character more. V. Okay. So V stands for value grouping. So this is kind of an expansion on atmospheric perspective. You've probably heard of like foreground, middle ground, background before. So it's that concept, but expanded. So I think a lot of beginners paint every little light and shadow because they're just copying what they're seeing. But reality is very chaotic, right? Look around. There's so many different objects, right? Art is about organizing that chaos. So strong painters simplify values into readable groups. I don't know what this is. I'm a crab today. I'm gonna show you some of my favorite artists growing up that I think are really good at this. Look at this. I love this. This is so sick. You can see the clear value structure, right? It's like this foreground, this middle ground, and this background, a very clear separation. Each part is still really visually interesting. And growing up, I thought Sparth was so good at this. This is like a clear representation of like a stylized value grouping. This is one of my favorite Sparth images. I think the shape design looks so confident. We have like the 75%, 25% shape design rule. I think this is just a very pleasing image. This is so good. Still holds up. So one of my core memories is when I showed Sparth in person this piece here I made for my book Nima. He said it was cool and fresh. I was like, fuck yeah. Just me revisiting this, looking at point blank, this could use a lot more value grouping. There's a little bit of atmospheric perspective and grouping back here, but a lot of it kind of blends with each other. I think I did that intentionally for the aesthetic of the piece, but let's just try to add a little more value grouping. Quick edit here. Here's the original. Ooh, view grouping adjustment. Yeah, now we have like a better separation with the foreground, middle ground, and background. It really depends what you're going for. For me, for this piece, it was my intention to kind of like make it really stimulating. But for this one, you can tell it has a certain clarity. Man, I can draw, but I can't write. There. This E has some attitude. E. Oh, that's cute. So one of the best landscape design books out there talks about this constantly. We'll be talking about some of the concepts from that book. So eye flow is basically the path your eye goes on throughout the image. When you look at a piece, you eventually get to the focal point, but what's the path on getting there? This is where you get to play Puppet Master, right? You can go, or you can go, Humans naturally scan things, right? They look up and down, they check someone out like, ooh. So if you guys get caught checking someone out, just say you're practicing an art tip from Rossdraws. Yeah, so there are so many ways to lead the eye. We have like radiating lines, cross, 3-spot, suspended steel yard, circular or O's, S. There's a lot of ways to get to your destination. So let's just look at some art. Ooh, Muka. Started here because it feels like this is the lead-in, and then kind of like wraps around all the detail here, and then eventually it gets over here. So this is a commission I did for Ni no Kuni, a Studio Ghibli game. And I remember trying to play with that here, right? The eye flow. This is our focal point. And so I think I was trying to do, you start here, you get to the flowers, you get to object 1, object 2, you wrap around, boom. Yay, spiral. This is my new character, Symphony, and I purposely made the hair really energetic and fun so I can play with the composition of it. So you can do it on poses too. A little bit of a curve here, another S, then S, but it's stabilized by like a symmetrical pose. Yeah, you can totally see the S in here. Yeah, I think I like S's. Yeah, so looking at my old art back then, there is a very clunky eye flow. We're looking here and here, but it's like not pleasant to be there. It's like, I wanna go home. This is probably like the pyramid or triangle. Landscape-wise, I really like Avon Earl's environment work. Hope I'm saying that right. It's very like stylized and simplified, but there's a lot of really rich, masterful detail in it. So I found this piece from 2011, and you can see there's almost like a pleasant eye flow here. River is the start of the eye flow, but there's so much things in the water. So I'm just gonna try and improve the eye flow of this and clean it up. You know what? This might be really fun to finish on my own time. Yeah, it might be good to see how much we've grown, right? I'm just gonna show you the quick edit that I made here. This is before, and after. As you can see with the original, like it lacks a bit of clarity with the eye flow, and just by simplifying things, taking things out, we're able to clean up the river a little bit and give your eye like a nice path. You do not have to remember them all, but I think it's just like a good framework. How do I want the viewer's eyes to travel? All right, ooh, man, I'm sweaty. Just to recap, save, shape, atmospheric perspective, areas of rest, value grouping, and eye flow. So there's a few more weeks on my character portal art challenge. It's gonna show you so you have a better sense of what it is. So here is a chapter from my life energetically, right? Yeah, it kind of represents like an emerging innocence. There's lots of beautiful florals. I just came into the world and I started to look around and it's beautiful. So here is my character. Whoop, nice. That's so cool, look at that. Character based on an era of my life, and then I designed Portal to go along with it. Don't stress, honestly, this challenge is just an excuse for us to do more personal work, you know? Connect our heart to our art. Another dad joke. Yes, the book is coming out so soon, I'm so excited. Again, pre-orders are happening right now, so take advantage of the free shipping. Ow, ow. Okay. I surrender. Almost finalized the name for this cat. I did an Instagram live and I said this was Zeus, and I'm like, wait, I like Nimbus. Yeah, so I want to start doing giveaways again on my channel. Fun chance to win a Patreon membership. Help me pick a name for this cat. I think the name to beat is Nimbus. I will choose a lucky winner and we'll reach out to y'all. Hope y'all have a good day. Bye.